Hey guys, this is a market recap for July 28th, 2026. It is a Tuesday. Um, Across the board, especially in the semi names, quite a bit of selling. Um, Selling continued in most of the names, right? ASML, for example, MU, Nvidia held up, in my opinion, the best. Not that it really matters after yesterday, though. This thing is kind of not to be trusted, in my opinion, right now. Intel, big selling. Some of the names I had kind of higher hopes for, like HPE and Dell, took a bit of a beating today. However, they still closed above their 50-day, which is awesome to see. This stopped me out of a position I took yesterday, just a very small trade, um, which is fine. If this thing can continue to, go sideways for another week and get back over this level, it's still on my watch, but I think it needs a little more time at this point. And, I'm not a huge fan that we made a new low here. So tech still looks like crap. Some of the memory names still look atrocious. SNDK looks really bad in my opinion, especially when we compare it to like a WDC or STX are holding up a lot better. Still, just very, very loose charts. And frankly, I just don't think there's going to be much to do in tech for a while now. The only exception to that are the cybersecurity names, which is like Snow and CrowdStrike and Datadog. Um, I still think this looks really good. This thing held up phenomenally well, um, even with a day in the market like we had. A big washout, got bought up. I think this looks really good over, this level here. So if we can get back over this level, I will certainly take a position on Snow. Definitely not with risking full size, but I'll definitely take a small entry on it until I can start getting some traction in the market. Um, Aerospace names are taking a little bit of a breather today, right? If we look at a Raytheon, fine. This thing still looks really good in my opinion. Biotech is setting up decently, especially on the IBB. I think this inside day today was really nice. I think if we can get over, 190, 180, um, or yeah, I guess 191. 37 more specifically. I think this is a decent chart here. Unfortunately, the XBI doesn't look quite as good, but the IBB looks pretty good in my opinion. Um, Healthcare, big gap up today, right? This thing is just, XLV looks really good in my opinion. Um, Lilly, still one of the strongest charts in the market in my opinion. Again, the problem with healthcare stocks is I just don't really see many setups. Like I think the sector is obviously strong. I think that there's obviously money rotating into healthcare, um, but again, I just don't see entries, and that's really the problem. Um, INCY had a crazy day today on earnings. Good to see. Um, that's more in the biotech space, but still, important to watch. Um, Oil, crude took a bit of a beating than it has been the last few days. Fine, little bit of bounce in the after hours. I would say oil looks good in a few of the groups within oil. So like tankers, I think look really good. Um, you know, will these break out? I really don't know, and honestly, I'm not very confident. This is a stock that, like it historically sets up charts that are very clean, and then it doesn't ever really break out. There's like one exception to that, um, back here, which it broke out kind of this consolidation here and went higher. But beyond that, I feel like this thing has set up, clean charts in the past and not really broken out, and it's kind of just chopped around for a while. And I think this could be a repeat situation. I thought the 17th at the close was a really, really clean entry. And that would have been fine because guess what? You can hold through that chop if it decides to kind of trend. But will we actually get like a clean, decisive breakout over any of these levels? I'm not super convinced. Um, but I still think these are clean looking charts and they're charts to keep on your watch list, or at least on my watch list for sure. A lot of the gas names, oops, a lot of the gas names like Dino and PAR and VLO and MPC, these still look really good in my opinion. Dino reported earnings today. Not a huge reaction, but good enough for what I'm looking for. To not trim out my whole position on this thing. All right, I've been in this thing since the 8th. Hopefully we get a little more sideways and we get some continuation higher. I'd like to break over $100, or at least that's my next profit target. Um, you know, um, a few sectors stuck out to me. Steel being one of them. I think steel looks really good actually. I think particularly on the NUE earnings, right? This thing just kind of blew up today. STLD looks really good. MT, I think, is one of the cleaner charts. Um, I think over, let's see, I guess $68 pretty much. I think this is a clean breakout level. And we're seeing steel kind of have decent continuation. So that's awesome. I think restaurants are still one of the strongest groups in the market. Again, not particularly exciting to trade, but BJ is still on a tear. Cheesecake Factory put in a nice day today. Brinker International put in a nice day today. Um, Cracker Barrel is holding up its flag. Didn't make a new low after yesterday, which is good to see. Um, Travel names were pretty strong today, right? If we look at a CCL, Big Green Day, a lot of the cruise liners, some of the hotels, it's particularly the cruise liners, right? If we're looking at like a Royal Caribbean, strong earnings reaction today. Um, so there's certainly money flowing into things. Again, I think there's still just a lack of setups. I think the XLF was something to note today. I think this was really, really strong. There's really only one chart in the XLF that appeals to me, and that would be PNC, right? It kind of is it's a pretty nice high type flag. Um, where this is a little choppy, where this is gonna break out, I don't know. Like it's a little bit choppy in my opinion, but I think it's decent looking. Schwab kind of had a nice breakout here on the 27th. Hopefully we could get a similar reaction in PNC because I think this is a pretty clean looking chart. Beyond PNC, MT, HPE, which honestly HPE is kind of off my radar at this point, and Snowflake, uh, I'd say these are the only like 3 or 4 charts that are kind of on my watch. Again, some of the tankers like FRO and STNG, and uh, I guess XOM, or not XOM. What is it? Uh, Eco is fine. That's it. Oh, I guess that's TNG. I already said that. A lot of the tankers look decent. Again, will we actually break out? I don't know. Biotech saw decent action today. I think the IBB looks particularly good. The XBI kind of looks uh, not the best. But a stock like INCY had a crazy breakout on earnings today, which is really cool to see, right? Kind of right over this level here. Um, I took a trade on DaVita, which is a healthcare stock today. However, I didn't realize they were reporting earnings in a few days anyway. So I might be out of this within the next day or two, just because I'm not too keen on holding this thing through earnings so soon. But yeah, beyond that, I'd say there's not a whole lot to do. Charts are limited. Um, you know, when we'll balance in the market, I don't know. I think the Qs definitely have some more work to do. I think some things in the SPY are performing pretty well, which is why this is holding up as well as it is. Um, but yeah, that's about it. Not a whole lot for me here. Um, and we'll see tomorrow. The things I'm mainly watching are how does the IBB respect this level tomorrow. and the charts that I mentioned earlier. But beside that, yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching.